Bobby Anderson, Sanford Center. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate you calling me in to come and talk to you.
Oh, it's my fault. Yeah.
I pushed the wrong button.
I did. Sorry about that. Well, I mean, great job, you and the staff. I mean, as some of us know, a challenging industry on a regular day, and then to have, storm damage and still pull off events and make things happen. So hats off to your crew, and it's more work every day. The downside, right?
Yeah. It summer's generally the slow perceived time of the building in the arena, but not this year with the storm and everything that happened. And I can't thank my staff enough because they've just been doing double time, keeping events going, also working through the rebuilding process after all the storm damage.
So in the community, every community is going to talk. So, I mean, what are some of the crazy stories you heard about the Sanford Center that you're like, well, that's kind of true?
Yeah, some of the crazy stuff that you hear, it's interesting, but you got a lot of, I didn't even know the Sanford Center had damage. That's kind of the crazy one to me, because I've talked about this before and kind of brought it up, but we sustained quite a bit of damage.
Mayor just said $4.5 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
I like the deductible, $5,000.
Yeah. So that's the important piece of that, right?
Right.
It is it's an insurance thing where the insurance is footing the bill and doing the repairs, and so that's kind of the myth. Was one of the things that I've heard is people talk, it's going to cost us so much money. Well, like you said, you just heard the mayor say it was a $5,000 deductible,
and that's for the whole city, not just for the Sanford Center.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you break it up amongst all the different places that were, hit, and it cost almost nothing to do a lot of work at the Sanford Center. So
the mayor had said 2 air handlers up on the roof weighing roughly 8 tons apiece tumbled across the roof and ended up on the ground.
That's crazy.
How does that happen?
Strong wind.
The ratio.
Yeah, the ratio that came through. And I mean, with it being 80, 90 feet in the air and the wind force up there. But yeah, it took 2 of our huge exhaust fans right off the top of the roof.
And I'm guessing they were bolted down. Weren't just sitting there.
They were attached. They were designed to not come off, and they came off. So they ended up, 40, 50 feet down, punched a hole through the secondary roof.
Dang.
For how heavy they are and the kind of damage they cause, it could have been worse. I mean, it felt like they almost got set down on top of the roof because I'd expect them to go through a roof,
Right.
being so heavy. But
Right.
It was pretty wild to see.
I've never been up on the roof of a building that size. It's giant and flat. Once you get a hole in it, that's a lot of water coming in that building. Are you still finding spots?
Yeah, so you talk about a lot of water. We had some beautiful water features.
Wow.
You got to joke about it because it is what it is now. But yeah, showing up on the 21st at like 4 in the morning after I got the phone call from Justin, I needed to be there to open the building, and walking into the back door through the arena, and it sounded like a waterfall. I mean, I was like, holy cow, water's coming everywhere. And so the suites were getting a lot of water in them because that's where the rooftops fell, right above the suite level.
Of course, right.
Finding out that the main roof had about 88% of the roof torn off.
Wow.
The rubber was laying on the south side of the building on the ground. And just kind of looking at it going, where the heck do we start?
Right.
Never done anything like that before. But the answer was people first. And so we took care of people. We took care of the community.
That's right.
And
That's right.
we opened
At what point did that shelter open?
it's like 6 o'clock on Saturday morning.
2 hours after you got there.
Yeah, it was quickly. I mean, myself, Amy Bowles from Beltrami County Public Health, and Red Cross support staff were there and had it set up and running within hours.
Wow.
And so huge shout out to Amy and her team over there. I know she's been around talking to a lot of people, but she deserves a lot of credit for the hours that she put in. She didn't leave for days on end. Wow. So her and her team did a great job. The Red Cross did a great job. I mean, the community, I was just talking to a couple of BSU staff yesterday doing some interviews, and they showed up and they were helping cook in the kitchen. And myself and ASM,
Well, yeah, talk about that. I mean, to have that partnership for the management of the facility, their resources, their connections, their knowledge.
Yeah.
It's great to hear that ASM stepped up like that.
Yeah. And it's great because we're actually getting a new name and rebranding the company after the Legends merger. And so Legends Global is the official new name of the company. But speaking of Legends and the connections we have,
the guy from US Bank Stadium came up.
Yeah. So my boss, John Drum, who runs US Bank Stadium, I made a phone call to him on my way in while I was driving through people's front yards on Lake Street, and he picked up and said, "What's up, Bobby?" I said, "We got a problem. The storm wrecked our community." I said, "I'm about to go open an emergency shelter. What do I do?"
So you hadn't even been in the building yet?
No, hadn't even been to the building yet. I knew it was bad. Right. I mean, I barely got out of my house, and I just knew it was like the devastation on the way into town was crazy. And so I called, and he said, "All right, I'll circle the wagons and call the troops in." And he showed up within 5 hours on site and offered assistance cooking for the community that was staying in our facility. He was cleaning with me at 1 a.m. The next night because we didn't leave either. And we were just cooking, cleaning, serving, damaging, right. Assessing the damage. And he made phone calls and got everybody from the corporate level and our relationships that we have that we can bring to the table as the management company. And we got ServPro here, and the main ServPro from Minnesota was here he was an hour and a half behind John.
Wow.
Wow.
And so he was on site immediately, started doing scans, started doing damage assessments, getting pictures, video. So that was integral in a lot of this damage that's occurred, because before we even got insurance on site, or before we even got really anybody on site, it was days. And so we were able to clean a lot of water. We were able to turn on our desiccant wheel up on the rooftop 5, which is an amazing unit, and it saved a lot of damage. We pulled from, it was like 92% humidity to like 60% humidity overnight, and we sucked a lot of water out. We had standing water in the club level, and the next morning it was gone. Like, the carpets were still wet a little bit, but the water had just gotten pulled right out of the building with that desiccant wheel running. And
wow, that's impressive.
So, you talk about the $4 million in damage. Could have been a lot more millions of dollars than that, and we were able to get our team together and do a lot of work in a short amount of time. And so,
and be a shelter.
And be a shelter, yes.
That's the one that blows me away.
Yeah, and talking about the shelter, there's really nowhere else that people could go. The Armory isn't really that anymore. They're not set up for that anymore, and so the Sanford Center is that place. And
that was priceless for the community and the citizens.
Yes,
to have that.
It truly was, and for everyone that was affected. And there were people that were homeless coming. Right. Their houses were flat out destroyed. It was fewer of those people, but there was families sleeping there, hundreds of people sleeping in cots in the ballrooms. We were feeding people. Did
you ever think you'd see something like that?
No.
Right.
We did a training, was it like a month and a half prior?
That's the ironic part.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Mm-mm. We did a training on how to set up an emergency shelter and what it looked like and who would do what. It was...
Thank goodness, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, it was kind of like surreal. It was like, okay. You get trainings all the time.
I bet.
Am I ever going to need this?
Probably not.
Is it going to stick with me? You wonder until you get to test it, and then you're like, okay, I did know what I needed to do, and Amy did, and the team, everybody, and Justin for the community. I mean,
that's awesome.
Was invaluable having him lead from the city perspective, and Chris from the county perspective, and having the city leadership helping the community. I got to see firsthand all of the help that came together because I was kind of in that hub. And a lot of people don't realize how much camaraderie and coordination it took.
Got it. I can imagine.
It almost pains me to ask this next question based on everything that has happened, but we're a few weeks away from hockey.
Yeah, right. That's the big question.
You have a giant target date that you need to hit and have that building ready.
Mm-hmm.
Will you get there?
Yeah, so we've been on track. The goal was to get BSU on the ice practicing by the beginning of September. We hit it.
Right on. Good job.
Kraus Anderson as the construction management group, they're not doing any of the work. They're not contracting it themselves. They're just managing the bidding and the contractors on behalf of the city. So that's kind of a misconception. Kraus is not doing the work. They're not the ones that are doing the physical work. They're just handling the bidding and the management of other contractors to make sure timelines
Who gets
met.
in when?
Exactly. So Sean Lewis is our senior project manager, doing a great job, working day to day with us. Once the roof started, the repair on the roof, it was done within, I think it was like 9 days.
Wow.
So you talk about, moving along quickly. There's a lot that can be accomplished within short amount of time when you have the right people at the table. And the contractors that have been selected are all aware of the timelines that need to be met. We're optimistic that those will continue to be met. The plan currently is to have, for women's hockey at the end of September, the club level will not be open for that weekend series. Generally speaking, it doesn't get utilized for women's hockey, so that's kind of the plan. But the bowl, everything will be available. The concourse, concessions, everything's on track. We're good. Ice is great, as good as it's ever been. Teams are having fun, skating, practicing. They're working hard.
That's awesome.
From the perspective, then, the south side suites were the ones that got hit and impacted the most. The north sides were a little impacted, but a lot more smaller cosmetic stuff versus rip it down to the studs and rebuild kind of. So the plan for the first hockey series is at least 50% capacity upstairs, with the optimistic and plan to be open fully. Obviously, it all depends on a lot of timelines, but we do have plans in place to be finished by that point. And what does finished look like? Right, open. There might be some detail work that still needs to be done, but from a safety standpoint, it'll be safe. From a usability standpoint, it'll be usable. And everything goes to plan, it'll be really good. It'll be beautiful. People are going to be, amazed by what it's going to look like and the differences that they're going to see. So we're really excited to be able to work on the project and to be able to serve the community in this way. Being able to utilize relationships, again, that we have from a corporate standpoint across the globe. Leveraging those relationships to get some of this stuff done in a timely manner has been invaluable. So
on the suites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, will some of them be at a discount because they're? No, I'm just teasing.
So
they're going to be. You guys can start selling those, right?
Yeah. So and this is one of the things that we've talked with all the suite holders. If they're affected at all by this, if it affects their ability to utilize their suites, they'll be fairly compensated. At the end of the day, again, it comes back to insurance is covering losses. So again, this isn't going to come back to affect the taxpayers, the insurance company. If we have loss of revenue because we can't utilize a certain suite, will be taken care of on the back end from insurance. So
Excellent.
BSU will be made whole, and there won't be any issues with it. So, the backup plan tentatively being we have other spaces that we can utilize for those suite holders. Like I said, we have every single suite except for one spoken for, and one is currently in works with multiple different groups of people that
cool.
want it. So we fully expect to be full and ready to go for opener. So,
Time flies, as they say. Is this year 14 of the building?
15.
15?
Yeah, we're coming at year 15.
So, in 15 years, technology's come a long ways. New ways of doing arenas, certainly that sound and video electronics room. In the big picture, is this a good thing that we get an insurance claim to replace some stuff that was perhaps near end of life anyway?
It's not a bad thing.
Right.
At the end of the day, it is unfortunate that this did happen, but as you point out, there is an opportunity with that as well. Being able to replace things that were damaged, that were obviously 15 years old, towards end of life, is not a bad thing. So it's gonna, at the end of the day, it's really gonna help everyone. It's gonna help taxpayers. It's gonna help everybody. Yeah, it's putting a little damper on the summer, and but we haven't missed. We've missed one event, and that was a hockey camp in August, and we just weren't ready to put ice in because the roof wasn't done, but we were almost there even. But we had ice at the BCA for that hockey camp, and it was taken care of. They did it. But some of the highlights, it's like day 82 after the storm now.
Not that you're keeping track.
Not that I'm keeping track at all. We've done over 30 events. We've done over 50 event days in the building, which just means multiple days for that event. And we've seen over 15,000 people through the building. So there's a misconception. One of the crazy things I hear is you guys never do anything.
Right. Well, and remember, they were a shelter too.
Yeah, and that's not including the shelter numbers and days we saw that. So, we've been very busy. Our convention center stays busy. We haven't missed any events. We've had 2 major conferences that have come through.
Like the League of Minnesota Cities here?
Yeah.
Like a couple of weeks after the storm?
Yeah, so we had a wedding 7 days after the storm, and we hosted it. And they had no idea that anything had happened. They were thrilled. They had a great time. One of the best weddings we've ever had, honestly. They were just so happy. And a couple days after that, we hosted the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. Everybody around the state were here, 150 people or so. They honestly, if we wouldn't have told them that we had issues, they wouldn't have known. I mean, we were able to.
Well, other than there's that crane up there pulling stuff off the roof.
Yeah, other than that, that big crane that you can see.
That's amazing. 9 days and the roof was fixed.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And we had the roof watertight with a temporary solution, within days of the storm, and we were stopping 90% of the water from coming in within 2 or 3 days. Wow. So we were close, but.
Well, good work to you and your crew. And you guys are going to have an announcement this afternoon?
Yep. Yeah, so we have a little press conference thing going on at 3 o'clock, and so more details will come out, plans and more, strict detail stuff for like suites and stuff like that too. Just information, right? Telling the story, get the information out there so that people know what it is. They get the truth of it. They're not, we can squash some of the rumors of what's happened, what hasn't happened. Now that we're in the construction phase and have solid details and plans, much more concrete information is available. So, again, I can't thank my staff enough for what they've done over the last 82 days. It's been a tireless summer for them, and we're going right into a busy season where
That's right.
we don't have a weekend in the arena really, except for deer opener weekend until like May. So we're busy. We got a lot of things coming, and you got some good shows with Mercy Me coming. The Princess Bride screening.
And Schulte was excited about that.
Oh yeah, I can see
movie.
it.
He was. We did trivia for a week.
Never seen the movie.
I can't believe he's never seen it because I'm excited about it. It's a good movie.
It's inconceivable that he's never seen it.
And then now we got the Globetrotters coming.
I was going to say.
So, we'll have another. We're going to be doing Rock and Roll Christmas again right before the World Juniors get here, which I know people were super, super happy with last year. So that's coming back, and World Juniors, and so we just don't stop. We're going to go right into another event season where normally the staff gets to take a little bit of time in the summer for themselves, and nobody got that this year. So,
well, and I'm sure some of your staff had storm damage at their their homes.
Yeah, like you said, talk about that. It's how do you manage a
when
facility,
do they get to work on it?
Right. How do you manage a facility that's being there for the public, but yet you've got damage at your house? Mm-hmm. We were able to let almost all of our staff do what they needed to do, and I was able to be there and handle the business. And again, that comes back to having Amy from Beltrami County Public Health and the Red Cross and all the volunteers that came together, because my staff was able to spend a couple of days at home initially. If they had damage, they weren't expected to be at work. I mean, that's what it is. It's people first, and I mean that. And my staff and the community come first. And if I can serve and make sure everybody else has the time they need, I will serve till I'm blue in the face.
Perfect. Oh, Bobby, you can come back anytime and give us another update. Not a problem.
Certainly will.
And thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
You know what? Thank you for your staff. We work with them all the time, and they're awesome. I've never had a complaint. They do great work, and to step up like that. And a lot of people don't know about him. They don't realize. Maybe they see him at a game or an event, but they don't realize, the
That guy
commitment.
driving the Zamboni does a lot of other stuff.
Right.
Exactly. It's not just his only job. So,
And I wasn't just picking out Nate.
No,
Right.
no. I mean, we all have to carry multiple hats, and it's part of being in the public service world,
And
You
a
know.
small market.
and a small market, right? So,
With a big building.
yeah, if you and it's not just us, but if you see somebody that was involved in all this storm stuff on a heavy level, I mean, you guys were, from a radio perspective, getting news out there. I mean, thank everyone. Just say thank you. It means a
bet.
lot. Say thank you to Justin, his team, Amy, everybody. So
Thanks for sharing.
thank you guys, and
bet.
thank you for everything you did.